welcome Professor and Dr. Manoj Choudhary, Vice Chancellor of Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, as our esteemed speaker for the 5th edition of InnoMetro. Dr. Manoj Choudhary, Vice Chancellor of Gati Shakti Vidyalaya, holds a PhD in Communication Systems from IIT Kanpur and a bachelor's degree in Electronics and Communication Engineering from MBM Engineering College, Jodhpur. He has served as Senior Director and Head of Systems LSI R&D at Samsung Electronics India, leading a significant expansion in R&D for SoC design and development, including 5G technology image sensors. At Texas Instruments, he managed wireless modem software development for mobile handsets, internationally recognized. Professor Shri Choudhary has co-authored 6 IEEE ECMA standards, holds 30 plus patents, and has contributed to the 6G task force and the Semiconductor Laboratory SCL. He has authored a book on ultra-wideband technology and serves as an independent director on Jodhpur Discom board. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Manoj Choudhary.
So in this particular talk, firstly, I want to thank InnoMetro for organizing this very important event, which is focused on metros and railways, and particularly also about the future of it, that is focusing on green and sustainable side as well. In the talk today, I shall talk about the transformation that is happening in the entire railway sector, what is causing it, and who needs to be there to take it further. Friends, as we know, railway sector, Indian Railways particularly, is a lifeline of the country, having started in 1853 to today's day when it carries 2 crore passengers a day. Today, in 23 of our cities, we are already having metro operations that are running. Today, we are also having the first regional RRTS system that is done by NCRTC in Delhi Metro Meerut corridor. Therefore, even in the entire transportation sector, particularly different forms of railways, there are various things that are happening to take care of urban transportation needs as well as the needs for long distance travel. In the last few years alone, based on the reform, perform and transform mindset of the Government of India, a very significant transformation is occurring in the entire transportation sector. You take railways alone, this year's budget itself is almost 2.6 lakh crore. If you talk in the last few years, approximately 15 lakh crore is being invested into railways. So where is this investment going? This investment is going in all aspects of improvement of railways, whether they be the tracks. Last year we laid 5,300 kilometers additional track length, and as was also highlighted in the parliament, that this additional track length that was laid in last year, that alone is bigger than the railway network of Switzerland. Last year alone, we made number of locomotives in India that together are more than what entire Europe and USA made. Today, on one side, we are operating rails, as I mentioned, that carry 700 crore passengers a year. But at the same time, we are modernizing our entire railway infrastructure. With the introduction of trains like Vande Bharat, more than 120 of them already running and rapidly increasing. They are offering to passengers a convenient, available and accessible transportation medium. Vande Bharat train is not merely a train, it is a technological marvel. Within it, if you look at that, how the doors open or close, how the digitalization has been interfaced with, what kind of conveniences have been built into it, everything is a technological marvel. When we are laying railway tracks, and today we have roughly around 130,000 kilometers of railway tracks, what are we doing? we are doing two things. A large fraction of these railway tracks are getting upgraded so that a larger speed can be carried on them. Today, around 23,000 kilometers of our railway track length can carry speeds up to 130 kilometers per hour. Today, around 46,000 kilometers of railway track can carry speeds up to 110 kilometers per hour. Why this is necessary? On one side, we can introduce new trains that can run faster, that can be more convenient, that can take you from source to destination in much quicker time. But you need also the tracks that will carry or support this kind of a speed. So in future, if we have to roll out Vande Bharat or Vande Bharat kind of trains that can offer high speeds up to 160 kilometers per hour or more and so on, we need to modernize our tracks. These 130,000 kilometers of track length need to be maintained into operations and always ensure that they are in good condition. In order to maintain them, moving away from the past practices, a significant portion of sensor-based and artificial intelligence-based technology is getting introduced. If today we are producing a large number of coaches and we already have more than 85,000 coaches, we are almost replaced all of ICF coaches with LHP coaches. So coaches are also getting introduced with newer kind of technologies so that we have minimum jerk when we apply brakes. When we are making new wagons to carry the freight traffic, when we are laying dedicated freight corridors that can carry heavier freight loads compared to 25 tons, how can we go to 32.5 tons or probably more in future? There is a newer elements of track technology that is getting implemented. Same is the case for ballast. When we are laying the bullet train project that is getting, it not only incorporates merely a faster form of train, but the entire technology in terms of tracks, in terms of how viaducts are being carried out, in terms of signaling upgrades and so on. Today with Delhi Meerut corridor, when NCRTC is operating Namo Bharat trains, which has a design speed of 180 km per hour and which have an operating speed of 160 km per hour, there are many new technologies they have introduced. For the first time in India, not only India, for the first time in the world, ETCH level 2, European Train Control System level 2 over LT has been introduced in NCRTC. When we look at our metros, they are incorporating the latest and the best technologies. Today, when we look at the wheel and we look at how the defect in the wheel can be automatically detected, there is a technology that is getting in. When we look at the pantograph and that carry the electrified trains, and we know that 99% of our route length is currently electrified, the pantograph detection is also, automatic fault detection pantograph is also based on technology. The point, therefore, I am trying to make is, irrespective of whether it is rolling stock, whether it is tracks, it is the Amrit Bharat stations that are, some of them will be dedicated to the nation tomorrow by Honorable Prime Minister, that out of 7,308 railway stations, approximately that number, we have a large target to make digitalization of these railway stations. Therefore, this is digitalization. Based on the success that our country achieved in digitalization, in the UPI framework, in the Aadhaar, in DigiLocker and many things that we saw, through three very, very important infrastructure. One is the identity infrastructure, that is Aadhaar. Then we have a transaction infrastructure, that is UPI. And then we have enabling infrastructure that have DigiLocker and all DigiYatra and all kind of facilities you see in services. So India has already proven to the world that in terms of digital technology, it is not a follower or only a fast follower. It is creator of new technologies. Same kind of philosophy of digitalization and new technologies now getting adopted into railways in all the forms I mentioned, in terms of new station development, in terms of new rolling stock, in terms of how we carry out our operations, in terms of how we do our inventory management, or how do we do demand forecasting of our passenger traffic, and therefore which route length to be extended, which route length we should have more trains, and which route length we should have dedicated freight corridors based on the economic need. All of this are based on digitalization. One of the biggest example of this digital technology leverage is PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan that was launched in October of 2021. That encourages a technology-enabled platform to be leveraged for building synergies across various ministries to not only plan the projects using technology, but also to monitor them using technology so that the schedule delays and the cost delays that are associated with our infrastructure projects can be eliminated. And therefore, technology adoption has become one of the foremost things in the entire railway sector. Now, when we do this kind of a new technology, in every aspect, whether rolling stocks, whether locomotives and so on, we are also looking at a sustainable future. We are looking already at close to 100% electrification. In the month of May, we already told that world's most powerful hydrogen engine-based trains shall also be rolled out by Indian Railways. That means we are already looking forward for a sustainable future. When we decided to lay 2,843 kilometers of dedicated freight corridor, based on the real economic need and based on the goal to bring the logistics cost and bring the logistics efficiency in India, just being 4% of the entire railway network, dedicated freight corridor is already carrying around 12% of our freight traffic. The initiatives that we have taken, therefore, are yielding results. When such a large technology-enabled transformation is happening, one question that we must always ask, and that question is, who will do it? We are having so much plans that for becoming Viksit Bharat, all our stations will be modernized, all our trains will be modernized, we will adopt best maintenance practices, we will adopt. Who will do it? Therefore, there is a significant need for qualified and talented human resources for the entire sector. And I must repeat, before 2022, there was no university in whole of India, university or institute in India dedicated to preparing human resources in the country, which needs so much, as I talked about. And therefore, in 2022, Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya was created through an act of parliament, by parliament, to focus exclusively on the transportation and logistics sector, and in particular, because it is operated under Ministry of Railways, to firstly focus on railways. So goals before us are twofold. On one side, including 12 lakh people who are working in railways, there are 2.2 crore people who are already working in the transportation sector. And with the growth in technology and the technology changing, they need to be skilled and reskilled and upskilled. On the second thing, with the growth in the transportation and logistics sector, it is likely that 1 crore additional manpower shall be added in next 3 or 4 years in the sector. Therefore, for a new age university to be set up, it has two goals. One is to prepare regular students through bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctoral degree, but to ensure that while there are 23 IITs, 21 IIMs, 32 NITs and 1207 universities existing in India, none of which was doing anything related to rail engineering, if a new university is set up, it has to have a unique curriculum related to rail engineering. And therefore, the entire curriculum that we have in Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya is focused on the transportation sector. Today, we have Bachelor of Technology programs where entry criteria is through JEE Mains exam, which are focusing on rail engineering. 4 programs on civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electronics engineering, and electrical engineering all have a specialization into rail engineering. Therefore, when a BTech graduate graduates from our university, compared to any other university or institute in India, he or she has a very good knowledge of railways. For example, if a civil engineer graduates with a BTech degree, he or she already has undergone training on railway operations, on railway track technology, on high-speed railway infrastructure systems, on railway bridge technology, on railway station design, on cargo terminal design, on urban transportation systems and so on. Therefore, making him absolutely ready to contribute to the railway sector on day one. Same is the case for electronics engineer. A student who graduates from our university is already trained in all aspects of railways related to railway signaling systems, in European train control system or communication-based train control or Kavach or cyber, all aspects that are needed for railways are already covered in our BTech curriculum level itself. Therefore, I urge the industry present here to strongly consider if you really require top human resources who can contribute to you on day one of their joining, this is the only place that you should look at. Secondly, in order that many of you who are working in the field, as I mentioned, need to upskill, our university has several programs at master's level. We have MTech program in intelligent transport systems. We have MTech program in rail engineering. This year we are introducing MTech program in bridge and tunnel engineering. We are introducing MTech program in road and highway engineering. Important programs for the entire sector. And these programs we have willfully done so that they can be done on Friday afternoon, Saturday and Sunday. What that means is that none of you who are working in the field need to take any leave from your office. You only need to visit us 2 weeks in a semester. While doing your job, you can still get an MTech degree. You can also get a PhD degree in rail engineering. But you have to make an effort to help your employees train. You have to make an effort to train yourself. So these are the programs for regular degrees like bachelor's, master's and PhD. Apart from that, for people who are already working in the field, today we are carrying a large number of executive training programs and training officers in the sector. I will give you some examples. For Indian Railways, all officers who are recruited into Indian Railways through UPSC exam, whether civil services or engineering services, all these probationers of Indian Railway Management Service undergo their training program designed by Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. From this year onwards, all new probationers who are entering shall also get an MBA degree in Railway Technology and Operations. 2 more minutes. Right? Further, we are conducting several executive training programs for railway sector. We have conducted training programs already in the rail grinding technology, where 200 senior officers of railway got trained. We conducted training programs on steel bridges, design, maintenance and quality issues, where people from railways, from Border Road Organization, National Highway Authority got trained. Being the university focused on logistics and supply chain and transportation, we have an official mandate and we conducted several programs for Indian Army, for Indian Air Force officers on supply chain and logistics, because for defense, logistics is everything. Right now, as I am speaking today, 32 officers of Container Corporation of India, Concur, are undergoing the training program at Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya on management development in logistics. We conducted several programs for Gujarat Infrastructure Development Board. Therefore, today through this medium, I also want to tell you that for any development we want to do, we can have infrastructure that is, we can have capital, but we also need talent and manpower. And Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, being the only university in India for the entire transportation and logistics sector, including railways, is a trusted and reliable partner. We are a central university under Ministry of Railways, and we are willing to work with you, with each stakeholder, to create superior human resources to train. Ultimately, it is people who will develop Viksit Bharat. Thank you so much.